they remain at the top of the table only by 8 points. So if Milan win tomorrow, it'll just be 5 now in the run-in to close the season. Here is Christina Unkel to join us. Christina, good to see you. Let's start, shall we, with Atalanta's goal. What did you think? Right decision in the end for that one to be allowed?
I do think that's a right decision to be allowed, right? I was with Matteo, and we're saying, what is the first contact that occurred? Was it the lower body contact or the upper body contact? And if you take a look, Dumfries is going to claim and argue it was his ankle, but the first contact that caused him to, if we're going to say fall, was the upper body contact. There's not enough there. And then he extends his left leg and tries to initiate that contact when he's already falling down. Here, he's claiming the falling down, then he extends that left leg. And so any claims on the lower body contact, I don't think is there. Upper body contact, you don't see that full arm extension push. Is his arm extended? Is there a slight touch on the outside? Yes. Is that enough to make him fall? I think the answer is no. And so I do agree that the right decision on the field was made, that there is no foul, and the goal was to remain. And then the VAR did a good check complete on this one as well. But it was reviewed, for those who want to ask. Any goal is automatically reviewed in the attacking phase of play leading up to a goal.
Did anybody think that should have been a yellow card, by the way, for simulation? Was that something you boys were mentioning, or no?
I feel for Dumfries in one way, and then I also, it's unacceptable what he did also. The VAR, like we've been speaking in the last few weeks, have taught players that if you feel contact, just go down, because they're gonna VAR it, and they're gonna see that little push, and they're gonna call it. So the new game of the last 3-4 years, the VAR that we've seen, is any contact means penalty, any contact means foul. Every defender knows. It happened a little bit before that, actually, to which player, and there was a contact from behind, and you said, oh, that's experience. Mkhitaryan. You said, oh, wow, that's experience, right? You know, as a footballer, the ball's in front of you. When you feel contact in the back, you go down, it's 100%, especially in Italy, 100% foul. But now, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, for sure there's been a discussion through the referees, because we've seen now these are not getting given anymore, and that contact is not enough, and it's not a foul. But the VAR has taught us in the recent years that this is a foul, and that's why he throws himself down on the ground. But
not when you're last man, though. That's silly from Dumfries.
What do you mean? He feels contact, he goes down.
The problem is, okay, that's because of a precedent that's been set in this whole VAR thing. But now I think with these not given, and especially in the magnitude of the club, Inter, and what's at stake, players are going to stop going down easily. Because for me, I think when I look at Dumfries, I'm a big fan. That was embarrassing. Yeah. Because the reality from a footballing play, deal with the ball. Do your job. He looked for that foul instead of just clearing the ball and getting the danger out of the way.
It's not a foul.
It wasn't given. It's not a foul.
This is not a foul.
It's not. He's there first as well. Deal with it. I don't understand why you be playing and taking that risk on the edge of your box. And for me,
because he thought VAR was going to bail him out.
Okay, but now it hasn't. It's going to be a wake-up call to all these other players now not to be going down these lines.
If they continue that, though, Nigel, the one issue is in Serie A, sometimes one referee will call it, one referee will not. Christina, we still have you. And we all agree, I think, on this one, the one that's up for debate is the non-penalty to Fratesi. Some of us think it was, some of us think it wasn't. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I know calling that live, I was surprised because I had enough clips and enough reviews to be able to see that, right, there's an extension by the leg, but there truly is a kick and extension. It hits the bottom of his heel and his Achilles. Very, very clear. He doesn't get contact on the ball, right? If he tips the ball first and then maybe there's a little bit of contact, we have an ability to argue. But here, there's absolutely no contact. It's on the boot, closer to the Achilles side of it. We've seen this consistently called, not just in Serie A, but in other leagues around the world, including in FIFA and UEFA competitions. So I was very surprised this was not sent down for that recommendation for a penalty kick on it. I think this is one that is going to be chalked up to an error and that it should have been recommended down for a foul.
So wait, Christina, you think that should have been given as a penalty?
That should have been given on a penalty. As you see, there's zero contact on the ball. There's no play on it, and it's right into the leg. Yes, they're both reaching for the ball. They're both extending. But at the end of the day, if you don't get any touch on that ball, but all contact on that ankle, then yes, that would be something that would be expected to send down for penalty kick.
I mean, I know the rules. I don't agree to it, no. I don't think that should be given a penalty.
Why not?
For me, it's not much in it. I might be speaking from an older generation, an old guy, whatever it is, but for me, I think that's just the wrong way to go because it will still keep adding to the younger generation, seeing things like that. Like Grella just said, any minimum contact, they go down.
Yeah, but it kicked him without the ball being there.
It wasn't really... I just still don't think it's a penalty. I don't think things like that are a penalty. That's just the generation I grew up in.
The problem with this play is that this has been called consistently, like Christina just said, in this league and all over Europe, that this is a penalty. I mean, this is a 100% penalty by the rules we were given at the beginning of the season and the last couple seasons. Do I like it? No, I don't like it. This is very similar to the Vergara one.
Which we're going to show now.
Yeah, maybe we can show it.
And here we
but
go.
for me, for instance, this is not a penalty to me. Because now, I mean, the contact is minimal. He's facing away from the goal. Watch this. This is not a... Look how he throws himself.
There's more contact on the Fratesi one than there is actually on this one.
Yeah.
When you play football, you know that this is not a penalty. Like, if I'm Fratesi there, I know it's not a penalty. But because of the new set of rules, it is a penalty. Why they don't call this now, this is the issue. The issue is not whether it's a penalty or not. The issue is...
Consistency.
The consistency of how the referees are calling it, and the consistency is how IFAB or whoever writes the rules writes it to the technology that we have. They're not mixing up. That's why every week we come in here, we have a different discrepancy. Yeah. But for football, this shouldn't be a penalty. But the way we've been calling it the last few years, this is a penalty.
And the way that it slowed down and you can see the contact. Christina, have you seen a discrepancy in the inconsistency as well? What are your thoughts on that?
I have. I mean, we obviously have covered Serie A for a couple of years now, and I think this year the pendulum swung a little bit too sensitive, right? Too much of every single slight contact, and every single contact, and we all know it, right? Not every contact's a foul itself, and let alone rises to the area of a clear and obvious error for VAR to intervene. We still want the referee to ultimately have the right decision. Now, I know that the court of public opinion, and I know in Italy, right? I think you guys always say the Gazzetta or something has all of these conversations back and forth. Is this right? There's other referee analysts there back and forth, and it takes a lot in media. But anytime you have video evidence that may show something that's really clear, and to your guys' point, you slow it down, you show that there's contact, people are going to be screaming for penalty or not penalty. But I think when it's too gray, like the last penalty we saw there, that's something that we don't want to be VAR to get involved in. At the end of the day, we want the referee who can feel the game, sense the game, and has an angle to be able to make that decision on the field.
It's nothing new with this inter-team. Grella, you just said the 3 biggest games of this season. Could you make a point that it dates back even in the past seasons? Yes, they weren't the favourites against Manchester City or PSG, but to lose in the final in that fashion, they're the only Italian team that hasn't won a trophy in, what, 3 seasons now?
Of course. It's getting to the point where it's embarrassing the way they're stumbling down the finish. And I agree with Nigel in one sense, and I disagree with him in another. For me, you can continue to play the style of play. For me, it's not a question of style of play. That's where I agree with Nigel. But the thing is, you have to play with intensity. You have to play the game. You have to... Inter style is fine. Whatever you want to say their style is, that's fine. But you have to play 90 minutes. And at the end of the day, you lose the game, you shake hands, and you move away. And even if you lose the Scudetto at this point, you shake hands, you walk away and say, no problem. We did the best we could do. We left everything there. The last 3 games, or 4 games, because if you include the 2 against Bodo, they didn't do that. I don't think they'll leave there and say, we gave our best. We gave our best foot forward. We gave everything we had. Okay. For sure, they didn't match what was required in the game of the intensity, the energy levels, and the shape, and all those things.
My point is, though, I agree with you 100% in that, but how does the manager get the blame for that? You put the team out there. We're saying the players are not playing with any intensity. What more can a manager do on the sideline? You talk about substitutes players. The players have to take responsibility.
But he's got to motivate the team. He's the one who speaks to the team, the intensity that they play with. How many big games now have we seen that night?
100%, but then the players have to go out there and do a job. Like that, let's be real about it. We've got to put it on the players, because what's he going to do?
It's
Make
both,
some substitutes. I think for me, the players.
I think this goes back to the problem
Chivu's been very passive in the whole thing.
I agree.
Who's the leader, Grella, of this team? That's the biggest problem.
Lautaro, he's not there.
He's sitting in the stands watching.
Yeah.
And that's a crying shame that when Lautaro is out, that no one else, with all the players we talk and speak highly of, Barella, DeMarco, Dumfries, all these players, there's no other leader in there?
Let me ask you another question. What's Bastoni's injury? We were there. He came off in the 70th minute. I want to know. If it's not a broken leg, it tells you everything you need to know. In the derby, he tackles Rabiot. He's supposed to be one of the leaders, best player in the team, by the way, for our national for the Italian national team as well. He kicks Rabiot, stops the counterattack. He goes down, gets subbed out of the game in the derby. They're down 1-0 in the biggest game of the season. So I haven't looked at the injury report. Excuse me. Sorry, I should have probably looked at it. Is his leg broken? Does anyone know? No. Because if it's not, that tells you everything you need to know. He should be like, wrap it up. I'm going back on the field. We got to go and win the game. But he's like, oh, I'm out. He's like this and that's on. My leg.
And maybe it doesn't help that he was getting booed every time he touched the ball, with the whole narrative of everything at San Siro that day.
Do you know what? Just to give you a bit of perspective as well for people watching and football fans, you talk about big clubs, right? Inter's a big team, this and that. We look at, just in comparison, you look at this midweek in Champions League, you look at Real Madrid side that had so many injuries, everyone thought, okay, Man City are going to go and win there. Real Madrid won, not because of style of play or football, because they scored goals by long balls, but they won because of character and personality in the team. That is what we're talking about when we're trying to give a comparison to what Inter is missing. Inter need to have that same commitment from the players, because Real Madrid didn't win because of the coach or the manager. It was more about the commitment of the players and the passion that they've shown to win a game and to prove people wrong. I don't see that in this Inter side.